This podcast is brought to you by eHarmony, the dating app to find someone you can be yourself with. Why doesn't eHarmony allow copy and paste in first messages? Because you are unique, and your conversations should reflect that. eHarmony wants you to find someone who will get you. How are you going to know who gets you if people send you the same generic conversation starters they message everyone else? Conversations that actually help you get to know each other. Imagine that. Get who gets you on eHarmony. Sign up today.
Hey guys, and welcome to Criminality, the podcast where we know, thank goodness this week, Rebekah, loving reality TV and following hashtags like Scandival is not a crime. Rebekah, how are you? Reporting for duty.
Not well, B. This has been too much. This has been too much, Melissa.
How have the last, so we're recording this on Wednesday, 5 days of your life, how have they been? How have you coped? How have you done things besides read articles about the Scandival of it all? Ariana and Tom break up, affairs ensue, madness, the Raquel of it all.
Yeah, it's been hard. It's been hard to reprioritize my entire life around this. I've managed to. I've let a lot go, including my family. They're on their own, you know? Work.
I wish them well.
I do. Go in peace, but join me or go in peace is where we're at. And I was embarrassed about it the first couple days, but when the New York Times published an article, I thought, well, now you guys can all feel left out, and like the dum-dums who aren't paying attention to real critical cultural moments.
Vindication.
Absolutely. Like, good.
Fully.
My husband's going to read about this on the subway on his way to work, like as he should. So I'm feeling great.
Exactly.
How are you doing?
Honestly, I'm living. I am really
You
thriving in this sort of environment. It's the best thing is though, Rebekah, like, first of all, you and I don't go to sleep really early. So I will find the most unhinged things at like 11:30 and I'm like, I'm going to send it. And you'll write back within 30 seconds, OMG, and then immediately reply with something else. So it's been very great. I don't know how I would have survived this week without you because I don't know who else could have put up with
Absolute
this.
same. And you know what? You and I, I'm excited to talk about it here on Criminality on the show today, but we're not like, we're going to post about it, but we're not like and we're so thankful, but there are accounts whose job is to like constantly be creating content around this stuff, and people had emergency episodes, and I'm so grateful for all of them because I consumed all of it, but that's not necessarily your and my like lane. So it was just good to have you to communicate and message with, and we had listeners messaging too, and that was really fun to communicate with people. But we did want to just spend a couple minutes on this here because it's so big, and I know all the reasons why it's important, but I'm still trying to get my head around why it has transcended like every other cheating scandal we've lived through, survived.
We are hashtag survivors.
Yeah, we can mark ourselves safe, as you so eloquently put it yesterday. We are marked safe from Scandival. But like, what sets this one apart in your mind? Like, have you been able to like get your head around that?
That's a good question, because if you even think Vanderpump Rules hasn't been in its heyday for several years.
Right.
This year it's definitely coming around. Yes. So, it's been an exciting season already. But it's like first of all, these people are messy and always throw it all out there. Yep. You've got we have seasons of stuff of Kristen and Jax sleeping together with Drive on, watching the movie Drive while Tom Sandoval's in the other room.
Yep.
We have Jax and Faith sleeping together in front of maybe a hospice patient. I can't really remember that story exactly.
There was someone that was unwell. Yeah.
They have no problem putting it all out there.
Yeah.
So when we find out that two main characters on this show, one who we all kind of felt bad for, that's the thing. We've been bamboozled.
That's
we
right.
felt kind of bad for her when we find out that not only did they sleep together, which happens all the time on this show, there's just there's just genitals are swirling around here, like
yes,
in, out, wherever. But we find out that it's a 7-month-long affair.
right.
It's different.
It's different, and I think you're hitting on it. It's the cover up because they also like they're just flagrant, like they're so out there with all of this. And I will say, like, cheating is not a new thing on the show, right. And even the way Ariana and Tom got together. But I will say what's also different is like their ages and their stage of life and relationship. Like Tom and Ariana are together in a very concrete, long-term relationship with ups and downs that we have all witnessed that are very real. Like they go through things that couples go through, and like,
right.
So I think that's a difference too, is like they kind of can't blame it on being like 20 something anymore. And I know Raquel is 20 something, but like Ariana and Tom, let's say Tom is not.
Yeah.
He's 39 allegedly. So there's just so many things about it. And also I think everyone underestimated Ms. Rachel. Facts. The truth is out there and it's coming out by the minute. And so I guess we should just skip to the most recent, because I feel like everyone's going to be way up to speed on all the things that developed through the weekend. But just since yesterday, I think what was contested was maybe this Sheena Raquel physical altercation in New York after Watch What Happens Live, when Sheena went so, out of her way to like side with Raquel on that show. And they came off as very much like in sync, good friends. And as I pointed out to you, Andy said on that Watch What Happens Live, wow, Raquel, I didn't know you had it in you, in reference to saying something totally different. Like she wasn't apologetic about.
Wait, didn't Ariana say it too? She said it at like a lunch with Katie.
Right. That's what
Everyone's
Andy was
surprised.
referencing to, because he said, it was like, do you regret it? And it was like telling Katie straight up, you want to make out with Tom. And she's like, no, I don't regret it. And he's like, wow, I didn't know you had it in you. And I'm like, whoa, those words, like he didn't even know the half of it at that point. But then there were rumors that there was Sheena basically clocked Raquel at a bar after, but it was kind of debunked, and people were saying alleged and nobody knew. But now Raquel, should we go with Rachel or Raquel? I kind of like calling her
Rachel
out. Yeah. I
like Rock too. That was my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Rachel Rock's lawyer sends a files for restraining order against Sheena. And so that either means like she's really digging her heels into a lie about it, or that it really happened and this is maybe her way of getting out of the reunion.
Yeah.
Because she's not going to be able to be within 6 feet of her if it's granted. And then I think I read this morning that it was granted. Did you?
Granted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
our friend Ryan with So Bad It's Good, he posted it this morning. He's all over it.
Ugh.
So
it's at the forefront.
All over it.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Boots on the ground. And so it was granted, which I say we reschedule the reunion until it's lifted, because I need them all there.
That might be what I'm most actively mad about right now, is that she is getting people around her that are going to make this easier for her. And Tom too. I'm wondering how he's going to get out of it. I forget what I read about what his excuse is going to be. Oh, he's pulling some stunts on set right now, like refusing to film because things didn't go his way in a scene with her. And, I don't know. This is the rub. Like, you've kind of chosen to put this all out there. And now this is like what you've made your bed. Now he has to literally lie in it on camera.
But then there's like the extra, last thing we've been trying to, we have discussed this thoroughly all week. So you'd think we'd have nothing else to say, but I could go on forever. And yet here we are. But I think there's another piece to it that this has not been proven. It could just be a total lie and just a coincidence. But the whole Tom Schwartz of it all was Schwartz, was he a red herring in this whole thing? And was her kind of acting like she wants a relationship with him cover up because she was actually having a relationship with Tom Sandoval? And I think I wasn't on this boat, and I know people are saying that now, but like, you'll never catch me saying how great Tom Sandoval was. Like, I thought he was fine, but compared to Jax. That was all I was comparing it to.
Right.
Compared to DJ James Kennedy, you know,
Right.
spitting on Kristen's door.
The
That's
bar is
what I was
low.
comparing
Yeah.
it to. Very low. But thinking that the people that have been on this season, like, he's just so hot. He's this. I love his cover band. Come on now. Come on. You guys knew you were losing it when you got to that. But I don't remember where I was going with that. But basically, the Tom Schwartz of it all is very interesting because it does seem like, of course, hindsight's 2020 and you can look into things and make it how you want to. But there's a lot of interviews with the two of them where they talk about Raquel, and it seems like
there's
an
unspoken something. I agree. And okay, so we're recording this on Wednesday. You guys are going to hear this Friday. We'll all have watched the latest episode of Vanderpump by then. Can you even I
got a flutter in my heart when you said that.
Of the visual of the audience watching that show, we are like whiteboards out, magnifying glasses, pausing, rewinding, like that is what we're all about to embark on tonight, and our households better get ready for it.
I heard Ronnie and Ben talking about this, and they did a great job on their recent episode.
They sure did.
It was like a bonus episode, but they were talking about it, and they were saying, I think it was Ben that said, I think this is who it was, that the editors are going to basically need to re-edit stuff, like to show us these little things. The poor editors are going to be working overtime, all of them. But like they gave us a couple crappy seasons, so we deserve this for sticking with it for however many years.
Yeah,
I came in like the third season for this. I was a late bloomer.
Yeah, no, this is like, I would be excited if I was working on that show. I'd be like, oh, we've got a really cool creative problem on our hands that we get to like go tackle.
Lives are ruined. I don't know. But let's get to editing.
Yeah, no, it's just, it's just a whole lot. And we also did come up with a couple quick fun ideas for maybe some shirts and stickers and just markers of the time for a time such as this. So we are going to quickly get those put up on some new merch. And we'll have like a bigger new spring merch drop coming, but we do want to have some memorabilia from this
This
season.
Is a money by Monday situation. Like this is you are living through it, and you have to memorialize what we're going with, what we're dealing with.
Time is of the essence. Yeah. So actually right now it is all live. So criminalityshow.com/merch. And you, like us, can wear your, show you're a proud survivor of the scandal.
Yeah. Okay, Rebekah. I loved that. Every single second of that. But now would you like to turn and go into this week's episode?
More than you know, as exciting as it is to talk about this, I need to put my brain elsewhere for like an hour. So please, let's do this.
Don't remember my clues, but here, do you remember them?
Yeah, because they were all very similar, right? Wasn't it like singer, dancer, cheerleader?
Yes, you got it. Okay. Well, there are my clues. And so a lot of you guessed. Rebekah, you guessed. This week, we are speaking about Paula Abdul. And Rebekah, before we get started, do you have any feelings or opinions on Paula Abdul? What do you know about her?
Oh, I sure do. But there is a huge chasm between what my first impression of her and then my most recent one. So she was one of my first cassette tapes.
Nice.
For sure. I remember I don't remember what grade, but it was definitely at a grade where I still had parties at my house. Like people came over with presents and we played games. So it was like under 6th or 7th grade. Got the Straight Up album, if that was the title of it, but it was the one where that song was on it. Loved her, obsessed, knew the dances, really, really into her.
Yeah.
And then all of life went by and I didn't really think about her until she was back on American Idol. And so I think beyond those two things, everything I'm going to learn today is going to be almost new information. So I'm psyched.
Perfect. Then this is a great way to kick it off. Let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
Paula Abdul was born on June 19th, 1962 in San Fernando, California. 62. I thought she was older.
You thought she was older? That sounds older.
Hold on. 62.
To me. And I'm old.
50.
That's
Does that make her
17 years
60?
older than me.
Okay, here's the thing. I skipped in my brain a whole decade. Like 2000 to 2010 doesn't exist in my brain. And mathematically, I don't do that. So, okay, this sounds right. But in my head, I was thinking it meant 51. But 61 sounds about right.
61. That I'm surprised by that. But I guess it makes sense.
Okay. I think it's the fact. Who knows? She could be lying like Tom Sandoval about her age. So she grew up in a Jewish family, was the daughter of a man named Harry Abdul, who was of Syrian and Jewish, who was a Syrian and Jewish immigrant rather. And her mom, Lorraine, was Canadian. She was also Jewish, and she was a concert pianist. I never say that word right. And like I go into it like kind of holding my breath and being like, I'm going to look for your eyebrows. If your eyebrows change, I'll know I got it wrong.
Nailed it.
Perfect. So when Paula's 7 years old, her parents are divorced, and she and her sister Wendy move with their mom to the San Fernando Valley. So I guess another part of California. I don't know California. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. West Coast. That's what I know. So Paula is already showing a love for all things dancing at 7 years old. She's been dancing. She's been performing since she was like for 4 years at this point. So since she was 3, basically, she was taking ballet lessons. And later on, she'd add tap, jazz, modern dance, all of those things. Were you a ballet kid?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was. Ballet, gymnastics, all of it. Yep.
Yeah. I did ballet, and then our church had tambourine, so I don't mean to rub that in your face, but I was quite good on the tambourine. There's not much you can do, but I could do like where your thumb kind of makes a noise going around it. So make a joyful noise.
Next level.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll see your tambourine and raise you a spoon, because at a talent show when I was too young to play any instrument, I'm like, I'll play the spoons because I think I knew some from somewhere that was a thing. So I got 2 spoons. And I put my finger between them and like tap them on my thighs, like full on church talent show. And it was like, I play the spoons.
I love it.
Apparently. So yeah, we all have.
I love the confidence to just make it up. That's awesome. Okay. So back to Paula. So Paula's a member of her high school cheerleading squad. That tracks, right? And she wastes no time really figuring out what she wants in life. She wants to be a dancer. She wants to be a choreographer. That's like what she's going to do. So she, at 18 years old, auditions for the Los Angeles Lakers, the cheerleading squad, and she was accepted. She beat out hundreds of other women and was just a total natural. When you think of her beginnings, though, it is kind of wild to me, like how we know her now. And she started off being like the halftime show, one of many members of a halftime show for a professional basketball team in the 80s. Yeah. Right? I mean, like to still have this staying power, she's done really amazing.
For sure. But that was a real good springboard for so many things, like the Laker girls. Like there was
a time, it was like that Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. If you were one of those, it was kind of like a reality star. Like you've now got your foot in the door to do bigger and better things. Yep. Like colon cleanses, selling those things on Instagram. Yes. You're set up.
We'll get there.
Yeah. So during her time with the Lakers, Paula goes way beyond just being a dancer there. She is known for her choreography skills. She's creating routines, and the Lakers cheerleading squad loves them. They're very innovative. They're exciting. There's something different. Like she brings something that other people didn't have, which maybe is personality. I don't know, because I don't know what you can bring.
She has a spunk.
She brings it. She has a spunk and a sparkle. So Paula's time as a Lakers cheerleader was also notable because she was one of the very few women of color on the squad at the time, which was a very big deal. So Paula would go on to cheer for the Lakers for 6 years, but it's what came from her time as a Laker that we really know her for, what kind of springboarded her into the life we have. So one cool thing about Paula's time with the Lakers is that it meant really the eyes of the entertainment world are on her. These are actors. These are musicians, all of that. They want to be seen and be at these Laker events. So of course, what a great way if you want to be in the entertainment industry. Everyone sees what you're made of. It's literally a talent show every week, right?
Yeah.
And although she really wanted to pursue this career in choreography, and ultimately she was also getting called into the LA Lakers office for job offers for things like TV commercials and even TV shows. Like it was definitely a springboard for these girls at the time, as we were saying. So eventually, though, at one of the Lakers games in 1984, she is told that some members of the Jackson family would like to meet with her.
Oh my gosh.
And these are like Jackson 5, like some of them, they're watching her, they love her, and they say, hey, we'd like to fly you out to New York so you can choreograph one of our music videos. Wow. And this, of course, is like the biggest thing she's ever done. Like, think of Jackson 5 in the 80s. Like,
it doesn't get like much bigger. I mean,
no.
Yeah.
So Paula flies out to New York and she choreographs routines for the videos Victory and Torture. And of this experience, she said really the only issue she had, she's very young. She's like under 24, I think, at this time.
Oh my gosh.
Her issue was telling the Jackson family how to dance. Like, she's like, I can choreograph it, I can do this, but telling them like, you're doing this wrong and having to, can you imagine? Like,
no, absolutely
I couldn't do it. I'd be like, perfect. Everything,
Yes.
Kick more, do that. I like it. And then everybody would
The way
fire
you fell,
me within minutes.
I love it. Yeah.
Do it again. We're all going to fall this time. We're all going to fall.
We're working it in.
So just a year later, so she's kind of, starting to make a name for herself, but that was like the big thing on her resume at that point. But a year later, a different Jackson family member reaches out, totally separate from this, and that's Janet Jackson. And so she is asked to actually help Janet improve her dancing skills. And also she wanted her to choreograph various music videos for the Control album. So can you imagine? So not only are they like, we want you to create some of these dances, but like, she's good, but could be better. And you need to be the one to teach her how to dance.
I truly can't imagine. It's such a fine line because when you're already a star like Janet Jackson and you're bringing in a choreographer, it's like you have to walk a line of like not overpowering and outshining, but she becomes a star in her own right. So this is so juicy.
It's pretty wild. So being Janet's personal dance instructor, as well as her choreographer for all of the videos over her album, any of these that needed that had a video that was released, she was the choreographer. Obviously helps Paula's career immensely. She is quickly the choreographer out there, right? She begins choreographing routines for bands like ZZ Top and the Pointer Sisters, which I was like, I think I could choreograph the Pointer Sisters. Right?
Yeah,
like,
but think about where they must have been before.
True. And so she also did the choreography for the movies The Running Man and Coming to America. Like, she was the choreographer. It's amazing. Wow. And while she loved this career as a choreographer, she had dreams herself of being a singer. And she has connections at this point. It's not so wild. It's not Kim Zolciak and Big Papa, that pipeline to get to singing. Like, she knows the freaking Jacksons.
Yeah.
And so she says that she idolized Liza Minnelli because Liza Minnelli is a singer and she's a dancer and performer. And so for her, I know when I saw that, I was like, this is a very 80s reference. Yeah, the article was definitely from the 80s.
Yeah.
And so, but she's under the wing of Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. And so and so this article that I found in the LA Times from like 1984, in it, the author writes, and this is about her singing career that she's trying to kick off, quote, Abdul can't do it all quite yet. Her singing still needs some polish. And he goes on to say that it's like just dance music that she's wanting to sing. Her voice isn't really important to this album that she's making, to which Paula basically says in this same article, duh. She said that, her voice has room for improvement. Like, that wasn't, she knows she's not where she needs to be yet, which at the same time, I'm like, then why are you trying to sell us all an album if you're like, I can't sing that well?
Is that not true of like most pop stars? Like
Adele?
Right. Excluding the ones who literally are known just for their voice, like the Aguilera, Adele, Beyonce, like Britney Spears. Okay. I can only
it's all like
Spears
performing.
Right
yeah. Performance.
It's like the package. It's, so I don't know.
You're being very kind about this. So
far, I reserve the right to change my mind.
But part of course, what even gives her a shot at creating an album was thanks to Janet Jackson. Because of the success of Janet's Control album, labels are now looking for these female R&B dancing singers, and Paula fits the bill, right? So because she was able to help make Janet Jackson's album such a success, they're like, we need more women dancing, also singing R&B. And it's perfect. So that's really kind of how she got into singing. Like, they basically needed more people like that. And so Janet gave Paula moral support, but it doesn't sound like she was trying to sign Paula to anything, because you'd think if she was like so good, she'd be like, I'm going to get you signed with this label. And instead, Janet was like, yay,
rah, rah, rah. Yeah. Supporting you from the sideline.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's like that tricky line. Like, I don't know if she wanted to put her money where her mouth was with her, if she felt like that confident about it, or if it would be too close to competing with her. I don't know.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that. I felt like it was more like, I'm not putting my name on the line for this. You can
Maybe she doesn't really have it.
Tell me how to move. But when Paula does actually have an album, Forever Your Girl is released. Oh. And yes, the first single, Knocked Out, was written by LA and Babyface.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? It's a dud. Wow. That song is a dud. Nobody listens to that song.
I love that song.
You know that song? Okay. It didn't do well.
Your girl. Hey, baby.
No, that one's great. Oh. That one's great. But Knocked Out is the one they wrote.
Oh, Knocked Out. Oh. I thought we were talking about Forever Girl. I'm like, how is that not a hit?
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, hold on. Okay. I was like, how do you know Knocked Out? You definitely wore out that cassette. So later on, the song Straight Up comes out, which basically makes Paula Abdul Liza Minnelli, including her connection to the Jackson family. They both have connections. What was it? Michael Jackson acted as Liza's best man in her wedding to David Guest.
Wow. That's amazing, Melissa.
He was the best man. And my favorite, sorry, this is a total aside, but one of my favorite reality clips of all time, Kim from People Are Wild told me about this. It's when New York, Tiffany Pollard is her actual name, but I respect her and call her New York. When she was on Big Brother UK, David Guest was also on there. And there's a clip I will send you. It's a couple minutes long, but I promise you it's worth it, where she thinks David Guest has died in the house, the Big Brother house, while they are there. That isn't what happened. It was a miscommunication, but it's wild. It's the most amazing television. And I watch it about once a month. It just brings me constant joy. He is dead now, but at the time he was not dead.
Right. So we can, enjoy it.
Okay. Sorry.
Knowing that.
So back to Liza Minnelli, Paula Abdul.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry about that.
Naturally.
So the album Forever Your Girl also includes the hit singles Cold Hearted. I don't know that one.
Snake. One? Look into his eyes. He's been telling lies. The lover boy I play. He don't play by rules. I mean, this was
Are we gonna get sued for that amazing talent singing that part of that song?
Oh, Cold Hearted. Paula. My gosh. Immediately took me back.
Aw. And the other song, of course, being Opposites Attract.
It ain't fiction, just a natural fact. Yep. That was the crazy video with the cat.
Oh, was it?
Okay.
I was going to say, Rebekah, is there anything you remember about this song, or rather this video? And you nailed it. Do you remember the name of this animated cat from the Opposites Attract video?
No, don't.
MC Scat Cat. MC Scat Cat is his name. Yeah.
Of course it was.
Okay, so MC Scat Cat is kind of a basic name, I think. So I asked Chatbot GPT for 5 better names for MC Scat Cat. It gave me the following list. Number 1, Meow Mixmaster. Not great. Okay. Number 2, The Feline Funkster. I enjoyed that one. Number 3, DJ Whiskers.
Nope.
Number 4, MC Clawsome. And my personal favorite, number 5, Mr. Meowgie. That was good. That was good. I liked Mr. Meowgie. Come on.
I like that one.
So MC Scat
That is great. What an excellent use of the chat bot. That's good.
I mean, it's going to take over the world and ruin our lives, but I'm going to get my entertainment worth in the meantime, Rebekah. Use it.
No, it's just a tool. We're still the artists. I keep saying it.
I like that. Did Chatbot GPT tell you to say that?
Yes. I am ChatGPT.
So really, we can't beat MC Scat Cat. Even Chatbot GPT technically can't beat it because.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that moment when you're leaving the house and you wonder, did I lock the door? Or worse yet, you start spiraling and you imagine all the what ifs. I used to feel that way all the time, but it wasn't until a few years ago when I heard about a break-in just a few blocks away that I realized I needed to really step up my home security game. And now I can spiral about the what ifs on things that don't matter, like reality stars, instead of the what ifs of home security. We've had Simply Safe protecting our house for the last few years now, and it's a total game changer. With Simply Safe's Fast Protect monitoring, I know within 5 seconds if something's actually up, and the lifeguards can actually speak to intruders to stop them. That's faster than a reality TV star can throw a drink. One of the things I really love the most is you're not locked into some over-the-top 90-day fiancé level contract drama. Simply Safe is actually affordable as well, less than $1 a day with no hidden fees, so it's easy to love. It's no wonder they've been named Best Home Security Systems by U.S. News and World Report for 5 years running. Whether you want to install it yourself, it really takes less than an hour, or have a professional handle it, Simply Safe is as easy as flipping channels between Chimp Crazy and The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So why wait for the drama to happen? Get Simply Safe and know your home is covered just like I did. Protect your home with 50% off a new Simply Safe system, plus a free indoor security camera when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafe.com/criminality. That's simplysafe.com/criminality. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
MC Scat Cat, come on. Either way, it's one of the most iconic videos ever. Iconic as in it actually won a freaking Grammy for Best Short Form Music Video in 1991. Mr. Miyagi could never. So Rebekah,
that is too close to Mr. Miyagi.
I know, but that's the beauty of it. Mr. Miyagi, come on. I love it.
Okay. It's growing on me.
Okay. Well, at this point, Paula Abdul is not only the most in-demand choreographer, but she is a bona fide star. And as a star, it only makes sense that you date another star. And that's exactly what happened. Do you have any idea of her romantic people that she was involved with?
You're going to say the names and I'm going to instantly remember seeing them in like the Bop magazines and like teen whatever. So go ahead and tell me. I can't remember who she dated.
Technically, the only one I took from this list was the one she married, which was Emilio Estevez. She married him in 1992. Yeah. They divorced 2 years later because, according to Paula, she wanted to have kids. He didn't. Nice. He actually already had 2 kids and from a previous relationship that included a $2 million paternity suit. So probably best for her to have ended this. Wasn't going to end well. So she basically dodged a bullet with this one. And if she had been with Emilio Estevez's brother, Charlie Sheen, she could have dodged an actual bullet, which is basically what happened with him and Kelly Preston, RIP. But that's a whole story in itself.
Wow. Well done.
So in 1994, amidst her divorce for Emilio, Paula actually seeks treatment for bulimia. She's been very open about her struggles with bulimia throughout her career, and she said that these struggles actually began in her teenage years. It continued on throughout her life. It's something, obviously, she still has to work towards recovery for that.
Yeah.
And while Paula was continuing her journey after her divorce and this treatment for her eating disorder, Paula falls in love once again. And this is in 1996. She marries a man named Brad Beckerman. Heard of him?
Nope.
Me either. This was a short-lived marriage. They call it quits 17 months in. He was like a designer of some sort. It was, she tried love again. didn't work for her. So Paula is this in-demand singer and choreographer. She's been unlucky in love, but lucky with the Jacksons. And after the break, we're going to get into the American Idol of it all.
Oh, good.
Okay, so before the break, we were talking about Paula's life pre-American Idol and the success she found in the 90s and 80s, but early 2000s, late 90s, we don't see her nearly as much as we did earlier in her career, right? But things changed for Paula. In 2002, she became a judge on the TV show American Idol. Rebekah, were you an American Idol head? Is that something you enjoyed ever?
I wasn't an American Idol head, as you referred to it, if that's a thing. But I remember going on vacation with my parents and them saying, you have to watch this show that we just have gotten into. Mm-hmm. It's a singing competition. And I was like, my parents are setting it up. I'm already like, nope, not going to like it.
Already out.
Yep. And then I watched it and it was like, kind of, we've talked about this before. I like these singing competitions. I do struggle with watching dreams get dashed. And that's a big part of it. But yeah, I was never like a religious follower, but I definitely followed the first couple seasons and the big breakout stars from it. Yes.
That makes sense. From what I understand, American Idol is still a thing today, but I don't think kids today get the magnitude that it was in those early days.
They definitely
would make a career, right? American Idol has produced some of the biggest names in music early on, as we said, including Kelly Clarkson, Carrie Underwood, who was the biggest in country music.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. But it also gave us a feature film from Justin to Kelly, which I don't know exactly what that was about, but I do know that Kelly Clarkson and Justin Guarini, America's favorite number 2, were in that movie. But Rebekah, I was not a huge American Idol head either. I did watch the first few seasons, kind of up to like maybe the Clay Aiken area, something like that. And then it was I was like, all right, I've done this. So I wasn't the biggest fan, but I did have a favorite contestant. And if you would, I just sent you a video of my all-time favorite contestant.
Oh, this is so exciting. Okay.
Cruising in my coupe, my mind is made up. I have to find a girl that can make my breath stop, who can make my walls rock, being sensitive on top. Like I said, my mind is made up. Why don't you come around so my heart can hear your sweet, sweet sound, yeah. Hey girl, I gotta confess, you are the sweetest princess. Hey girl, I gotta confess, you are the sweetest princess.
Oh, security. Whoa.
Mm-hmm. I know. MC Scat Cat has nothing on eccentric.
That feels like a personification of that cat character. It's just so weird.
It's like if AI created him.
Yes. If AI created a human version. Who was the blonde lady at the table?
Olivia Newton-John.
Oh, I couldn't get a good. It's very grainy.
No, it is.
Okay.
The longer video, you can see her pretty clearly. But yeah, that was like one of the guest judges, I guess they had.
Yeah,
so anyway.
Yeah. That's so weird. I don't remember him.
I like. Yeah.
Yes, sure.
It's just a fun one for me. So Paula is picked to be one of the judges on American Idol alongside Simon Cowell and Randy Jackson. And American Idol is like a phenomenon. Its finale in the first season garnered more than 22 million viewers.
Crazy.
And suddenly American Idol is everywhere. Simon Cowell becomes a household name. We're all members of Randy Jackson's Dog Pound and Paula's Clap.
That's right.
Will be recreated for years to come. It's a very specific Nicole Kidman-esque clap that she does. And as the eyes of the world are on American Idol, which sounds kind of sinister, the money's big, the fame's big, and like I said, the eyes are actually on these judges, the contestants. It's everywhere. And people today, the youths, don't understand like what a big deal. This is like all we had.
Right. And it was before all the competing shows. So like
exactly.
There was no Voice. There was no anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so in 2004, during her stint on American Idol, it becomes tabloid news because now Paula Abdul's out there. And so we're hearing anything that, these judges do, we're hearing about. And we find out that she's been involved in a hit and run accident that leads to allegations of drunk driving. So allegedly, Paula is driving her Mercedes when she hits another car on the Los Angeles freeway, and then she leaves the scene of an accident. So she kind of was changing lanes hits the other car, doesn't stop, keeps going. But in 2004, this guy had a cell phone that he was able to take a picture of the car, which in itself is like a miracle. I didn't know we were doing that then.
Right.
He took down the tag number, calls the police, and the police go speak to Paula. And this was a few days later. So they say basically, hey, did you hit somebody on the freeway and keep driving? And she's like, what day was it? And they told her, she's like, oh, my car was in the shop. That wasn't me. Meanwhile,
She
picture,
lied?
tag. They
Oh my
confirmed
gosh.
it was never in the shop. And yeah, they asked for like a comment from her. People Magazine did. And her rep was like, sorry, she's in Malaysia. She can't give you one. No charges happened. But the person that got hit kind of got a cool story, I guess. I mean, I hope they had good insurance, but nothing really came of that.
That's crazy. You can just lie. No.
Well,
No, wasn't
and
me.
they were
I mean,
like,
now
could
you
it have
couldn't,
been right? But then it was a couple days later, so they were like, was it drunk driving? Was she on something? It doesn't matter. It's a few
Right.
days later. They can't even check,
Sure.
so it doesn't
Test,
matter.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
which could be why somebody would leave the scene. I'm not saying that was,
Sure.
but it could be. And while Paula denies that that was her car, she denied being under the influence of alcohol or drugs. And like I said, it doesn't lead to any charges, but it does lead to this renewed criticism of Paula and these allegations about struggles that she may have had, substance abuse issues in the past.
Oh.
She even talks in one article I read where she said one time Simon refers to remember how they had the Coca-Cola drinks at their table? Like they always had and he like inferred that maybe it was something different in her drink,
yeah.
which she said
Yep.
was like not a good idea. So Paula's known on Idol as being kind of quirky. I hate to use this word, but it was used a lot in the media. Ditzy. She's just kind of like the bubbly, maybe doesn't always know what's going on female of the group.
Yep.
It was the early 2000s. They would do that. And so after this information about the car accident comes to light, critics are kind of all over this and saying, is it appropriate for these allegations to be going on? And she has this reckless behavior. And does she have a drinking problem? Is she on pills? All that stuff. But there's an even bigger controversy still to come for Paula that allegedly took place during her time on American Idol. You'll have to tell me if you know of this story. I feel like, okay, your face tells me you're familiar.
I know no details, but I feel like maybe she was dating Justin Guarini, and I don't remember how old he was.
Ooh.
Was that
Rebecca's
not
here
what
to
we're
start a
talking about?
rumor. It was not Justin Guarini.
Oh shoot!
my
Who was it?
gosh. It's a man by the name of Corey Clark. It's 2005. He comes forward and says he had a romantic entanglement with Paula during his time on the show in 2002, which was 3 years before.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's not Justin Guarini.
huh. Why is that so
no.
cemented in my brain? That's weird. Okay.
I don't know, but I feel like I've either heard that or I made that up in my head. Maybe we both made it up. Who knows?
That's
we're here.
weird. Okay.
We're here
Corey
to
Clark.
conspire.
Yes.
Corey Clark, yes.
Okay.
He claims they had a 3-month-long sexual relationship, that Paula takes him under his wing, and she basically says, this is season 2, here's how you should do this. Here's the songs that you should pick. Here's how you should dress.
Oh.
Here's how you should do your hair to kind of help him in the competition.
Yee.
Yeah. But unfortunately for Corey, this is still early on in the show, but they find out that he has an arrest that he did not disclose, where he had been in some sort of altercation with his sister and a few police officers. The details were kind of vague, but he didn't disclose it. And so he ends up being disqualified. I think he was in 9th place, but he was disqualified from the show.
Okay.
So one thing that's important to note is that his claims that he and Paula had this relationship came out 3 years after he says they had a relationship, which happened to be around the same time that he was getting ready to release his self-titled debut album, which includes the smash track Wiggle and Shake and Follow That Back, which had a cameo from Kid of Kid and Play fame in it.
Wow. Good for him.
And just a fun fact, I don't know where to put anywhere else. When Corey auditioned for American Idol, he actually auditioned with the Michael Jackson song Never Say Goodbye. So Paula is just
Full
in
circle.
this Jackson.
Yeah.
Mhm. So Corey's also written an ebook about his affair with Paula, alleged affair. And it's got quite the title. Are you ready for this?
Hit me.
They told me to tell the truth. So, ... the sex, lies, and politics of one of American's idols.
Not the title. Not the title.
They told me to tell the truth. So ... That's what you do on a confession. Like, you confess to something. Like, they told me to tell the truth. So, not the politics. I do like that part, though.
I was just going to say the politics is, they should have led with that.
I know.
Scrap the first part. My God.
I know. So, I don't know if anyone's read it. I did not get this book. I'm sorry. I'm dedicated to this show, but even I have my limits. So, ultimately, though, the producers investigate these claims by Corey. They find no evidence to support the claims. Paula's super upset about these claims. They're in like season 5 or 6 of American Idol at this point. And according to Paula, if Simon Cowell hadn't stood up for her and said, this didn't happen, he's lying, this isn't true, she may have gotten the boot from Idol, because it was a really big deal to say not only was she having an affair with a contestant, she was a judge. So, of course, she would let him go through. So she says in response to Simon Cowell, like, standing up for her in their relationship, quote, he was extremely distraught and protective and supportive of me when that happened. There's the times when he's like a big brother or a lover.
No, you shouldn't.
Those are separate.
Someone shouldn't be both.
Never
One
both.
or the other.
Yes. You're talking here. We need it here.
That's weird.
It is. Like, there's not like a ... and later on it says or a lover. She's like, same breath, or a lover.
Right. Same thought.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question. Do we know
go
how
ahead.
Corey was during his tenure?
24.
Oh, he was. You might have said that. Sorry.
I didn't, but for some reason I kept it in my brain. I'd like to get rid of that now. So our girl Paula is a pretty busy lady. She's doing really well on American Idol, but she's not too busy to star in her own reality show. Rebekah, do you remember her having her own reality show?
No.
1 season, 7 episodes. What network do you think it was on?
E.
No.
VH1.
No. You're going to die.
MTV? What?
No.
No. What?
Bravo. It was Bravo.
Shut your mouth. Shut the back door, sir.
I will not shut the backdoor or Zoom background of Sir.
What?
It was on Bravo, and it was called Hey Paula.
You know what? Now that you say it, that has come across my computer searches on Wikipedia pages about Bravo, I think, over seasons.
Oh, okay.
Like that, I think I might have seen that on a Wikipedia page. Hey Paula, 1 season, what year?
2007, I think.
That's like Pam Anderson's year, that I think she, like, give or take that year. What a strange year of these shows.
It is.
Okay, keep going. This is wild.
Yes. So fans are able to look at Paula's busy life outside of Idol. And the thought I think that Paula had was, this is going to show a fun and lovable side of me. People are going to love me. After all, she's one of the directors and a producer on this show. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
But instead, here's what Paula had to say about her time on Hey Paula. By the way, I looked. Andy Cohen wasn't like a producer on this. I didn't really recognize the other names, but she was. Here's her quote. I honestly think it was the biggest mistake. It was about celebrating all the many hats that I wore that you don't see on American Idol. It all changed. And then here's my favorite here. So good. When I looked at the tapes, I couldn't believe what I'm seeing. I tell you, I was angry, enraged. I've never been addicted to any prescription drugs. I've never been drunk. I've worked my whole life. I sacrificed being a normal girl and not having the ability to have proper relationships, not being able to be a mom, a real mom. I'm very fortunate and feel completely blessed, but I am not the girl that's in those tapes. That is plotting, scheming, editing, and I understand the power of the media, end quote. I'd like to again add that she was a director and a producer of this show. Like executive producer and also other producer. Like she wanted this to happen. And if you're like, Melissa, how bad could Hey Paula be? Let's roll one of the most iconic pieces of Paula finding out that she had lost a job that she really wanted. I don't even want to tell you what the job is, but go ahead and roll that.
Okay.
So just before heading to bed, I decided to check my email, and I discovered an email about the Bratz movie I've been working so hard on. Now all of a sudden, I'm infuriated.
What? The most hideous experience for me to go through. How horrible and shit.
I can't believe what I'm reading right now. After all of these long months of hard work, I'm getting an email that basically says they really don't need me, and I really scratch my head and I wonder, where's God when you need him? Because this does not make any sense.
I've been asked to executive produce, choreograph, design the clothing, and dolls for the Bratz movie. What am I supposed to do?
I love what I do. This was going to be a great project for me to work on. Why all of this other BS takes place is a mystery that I'm always trying to solve. And sometimes I just get too tired trying to figure it out.
I get screwed over so much and I work so hard. This is not fair. I can't go with it.
You know you like that.
You guys, please, I'm trying to tell a good story.
Where has Hey Paula been hiding all these
You
years?
know,
I need to watch more.
the line, where is God? Where was God when she gets fired from a live action Bratz movie?
It's a mystery she's still trying to solve, but sometimes she's just too tired.
She's too tired. I'm trying to
The
tell a
shot-
story.
The shot of the rolling lip gloss on the table for effect? What?
I'd like to think she is behind that directorial decision. Wild, right?
I am shook. That is like nothing I have seen. Maybe she's a monster.
I know. Well, that's the
That
thing.
we didn't
She
realize.
ends up. It shows basically her not being so nice to her staff and people that are
No.
working with her. Yeah, I would not put her necessarily in the winsome category.
No.
I haven't heard anything that's very winsome worthy.
I also forgot that when you mentioned that she was known on the show as like the quote unquote, we're using that language from that time, like the ditzy kind of quirky one.
Right.
I forgot about her speech pattern, and it gives me like Kim Richards vibes,
Yeah.
like nervous about what they're going to say next.
So truly, that is one of the greatest. Just where is God when talking about being fired from a live action Bratz? You can't make that up. But like, she gave them all this footage. This is not CGI Paula. She was having these meltdowns and yelling and
that was an experience.
all those things happened. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they do creative editing, but you still screamed at those people to shut
the
up
lip
while you were
gloss
telling the
didn't-
story.
Highlight itself, but still, I mean,
I love that you picked up on that. That's so good. So switching gears for a minute, in 2008, there was a really scary thing that actually happened to Paula. That year, Paula files a police report with the Hollywood Police Department claiming she's being stalked by this individual who's sending her threatening messages and gifts.
no.
Yeah, so according to the reports at this time, the stalker is sending Paula a series of disturbing letters and packages, including a death threat and a picture of a skull. And Paula reportedly becomes increasingly concerned for her safety, and she decides to seek help from law enforcement. So the police department investigate it and find out that there's this woman named Paula Goodspeed. Her birth name is Sandra, so I actually wonder when the change to Paula began.
Right.
She was a contestant on the 5th season of American Idol.
Oh, that is
And
scary.
And so she had been obsessed with Paula for years, had been sending her letters and gifts. And she ends up being charged with stalking and these other offenses. She's supposed to stay away from Paula's home. However, tragically, she's found dead in her car outside of Paula's home in 2008.
Gosh.
In an apparent suicide just days after she sent Paula flowers again. Terrible.
That's tragic.
Terrifying.
And traumatic for Paula and really sad for that woman's life. That's really, really sad.
It's awful. Yeah, absolutely. So I did not look to see her like footage or anything. So
Yeah.
because I was like, I don't know if I can deal with how they treated her, if they were mean to her or anything. I don't
Sure,
want to.
sure.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure how to get out of that whole story. So let's just make the awkward jump and we're doing
Move
it,
on.
okay? So in an interview she does with the now defunct Ladies Home Journal in 2009, Paula says that she previously had an addiction to pain medication. She talks about these various surgeries and accidents as to being why she began taking pain medication, which really started out of necessity, but as it can do, became an addiction for her. And there's a quote from the interview where it says, quote, "The idol judge wore a patch that delivered a dose of medication approximately 80 times more powerful than morphine, took a nerve medication to relieve her symptoms, and occasionally used a muscle relaxer. But the pain became so severe that it disrupted her sleep and left her acting, quote, weird." This is still part of the quote. Abdul admitted an acknowledgement of the sometimes bizarre behavior she displayed on the American Idol set. So in 2009, Ladies Home Journal talks to her. She says that she had this pill addiction, according to them. But here's the controversy of this. Many times after this, Paula says, "I've never been addicted to pain medication."
What?
In fact, that's the actual quote. She said to ABC News, quote, "I've never been addicted to prescription drugs."
Okay.
And that quote is more recently in 2019. So I don't know why Ladies Home Journal would have run with that. And then she's saying the opposite now.
A legal retraction of that statement? Did she acknowledge saying it at one point, but that it was true? Or is she accusing them of actually
I never saw where
lying?
she accused them, but she just says, I was never addicted to pain medication. Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to tell what story is true. If she originally told the truth and then realized she said too much, or if she never said that. But speaking of stories, there is one story that Paula does not like to share. And that's the story that she was once in a plane crash.
Oh, no.
Yeah. In an interview with Yahoo Entertainment, Paula says she doesn't like talking about this plane crash. It took place very early in her career as it was just really taking off. She says her career took years to build, so she was worried if people found out about this plane crash, they would view her as damaged goods if they realized that, she basically had to take years off of working after this, according to her.
Wow.
She hasn't given really any more details about the wreck, but she did say there were 7 other people on the plane. And she said everyone had varying injuries, but hers was the worst, leading her to have many surgeries. And if you're like, Melissa, I'd like to learn more about this plane crash, get in line, Rebekah, because there's not really any information about it. As in, somehow the feds have no record, and neither do any news outlets. And according to Paula, there's a reason for that. Would you like to know that reason?
I feel like it's going to be a weird conspiracy, like someone's hiding it for some reason because of something.
She was able to use her celebrity status to keep the story quiet. A story about a plane crash with 7 other people. Quiet.
In what year?
I mean, it was early. It was maybe early 90s. So it's possible. But how has nobody ever talked to one of these other people and said, hey, were you involved in a freaking plane crash?
That does not track. That does not track.
And isn't that that sentence is just kind of gross to me to say, I use my celebrity status. But meanwhile, you do a hit and run and you get called out on that. Allegedly.
For what purpose? I understand, I guess, this reputation thing, it's gonna come out that she's, damaged goods or whatever, but I don't know. 7 other people on a very traumatic experience. It's a very weird move if that's what she did.
Yeah. It's weird. And I watched an in-depth interview with her talking about it. She's like, I've had several surgeries in my neck, all that stuff. I don't know why somebody would make it up, but it's just weird. She's like, there's news articles. I couldn't find anything. And other articles said, there's nothing. Nobody has any reports of this happening. So maybe she exaggerated a bad landing. I don't know. But anyway, it was just kind of one of these weird things that are out there in her world. So that same year, Paula decides to leave American Idol, but she wasn't judgeless for long. In September of 2011, she joins in as a judge on the first season of the X Factor USA. And I think that was the season Khloe Kardashian was a host. Do you remember? She hosted something for a year.
Yeah.
Or maybe Mario Lopez. I don't. Sometimes when facts like this pop in my head, I'm like, how did you even get here? Get out. I don't need to keep that in there.
I don't trust myself.
Yeah. The X Factor is one of these shows. It did really well in the UK, but it's another one of these talent contests if you haven't seen it. And it's created by Simon Cowell. So as a judge on the X Factor, Paula is known for her positive and nurturing approach with contestants, which you love. And I don't know, but you don't like when they run them down. So we'll take that. She also formed close bonds with some of the contestants and became known for her emotional reactions to their performances.
Okay.
But it wasn't without controversy. She reportedly clashed with fellow judge Nicole Scherzinger. I never know how to say her name, but she's from the Pussycat Dolls. On several occasions. And then there was even rumors of her having arguments with her brother lover, Simon Cowell. Do we call that a blubber?
Yeah.
It's a
blunder.
Ew. Despite the drama, Paula remains a popular figure on the show, and she continued to be a mentor to many of the contestants. She appeared on The X Factor for one season before departing the show in January of 2012. And after that, we really don't hear much from her until 2016, when Paula performs a full headline set for the first time in 26 years at the Mixtape Festival in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Where were you during the Mixtape Festival in Hershey, Pennsylvania?
I missed the memo. Didn't make it.
You didn't get your tickets?
Might have enjoyed it. Like if she was going through her greatest hits, and Hershey, PA is not that far, and I have family nearby. So.
And she like did some like pink level thing where she like went like this and like went out over the crowd it was brief. She also toured with New Kids on the Block and Boyz II Men in 2017.
Definitely would have done that.
And that was her first real tour in 25 years. And Paula stated that there's like many reasons that she decided to return to the stage after really 2 decades. She said, quote, "I took a long break and had sustained some injuries in the past. Then I returned to television with American Idol, and that took up a good decade of my life. Then I went on to do some more television," hey Paula, "as well. I always wanted to get back on stage because I missed it. I wanted to get back in close contact with the people who have supported me throughout my career and be able to see them again. Plus, I was getting asked all the time if I would ever do it again. I finally said, you know what? I want to, and I'm going to make it a priority. I'm passionate about it, and it's fun, and I want to connect with my friends around the country," end quote. Sorry, what?
No, I interrupted. I was just saying, give the people what they want, Paula.
I know, it was a very long quote. I just love that she's like, people are always asking me, so I have to make it a priority. Yeah. What if we always ask her about season 2 of Hey Paula? Will she make it a priority?
What if we always make her show receipts from the plane crash? That's mean. Make her do
So, Rebekah, all this leads me to one question. In the words, maybe, of our great friend, MC Scat Cat, Rebekah, straight up now tell me, do you actually know Paula Abdul?
No, I'm going to... No, I don't feel like I know her. I feel like that leaves a lot of questions. I feel like getting to know her, I've gotten to know her, and now I have more questions. She's not who I thought she was.
Boy, here's the thing. I don't have any answers for you because I'm just as confused as you are. But I feel like I learned some stuff, and most of that is, I don't know.
Yeah, everything I learned just makes me want to understand more. It's sad. I mean, it's always, these stories are always sadder than you realize they will be. Like
when you get through it, yeah.
You know, I mean, it sounds like she does have some chronic pain or injuries.
Yeah, for sure.
She's copped to that. Whether or not she's managed them with a medication, we don't know. But that's hard in the profession she's in.
For sure.
And I'm sure she was, I don't know. I feel confused by her now. I feel like
that's a good way to feel.
Yeah.
Confused. That's the story of Paula Abdul, confused.
And I would have put money on the fact that it was with Justin Guarini and not Corey Clark.
I know. We got to Google that because there has to be something to it. We can't have like Mandela affected ourselves that way. I just don't believe it.
I feel like maybe he went on the record about a quote about it or something. And maybe in my mind, I just conflated the two.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, the first headline is Justin G comes clean on relationship with Paula.
There we go.
Yeah. This says also Justin Guarini dated her. The next one says he didn't sleep with her. Okay.
I guess we're not counting it then. Sorry. In Sister Wives, you can't.
Yeah.
You haven't left somebody unless you've slept with somebody new.
There you go.
All right. Well, we didn't make it up, so that's good to know. Allegedly. Rebekah, you know what I'd like to do?
Play her first album.
Her out of my head. And I'd like to hear about something you've been watching this week.
Okay, first of all, I just want to say that keeping up with Bravo is a full-time job right now.
It really is.
and I'm doing it. I've got, Jersey started, Potomac just ended, Summer House and VPR are back. So it's a full week.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched a ton other than Shrinking, which we've already talked about and discussed. But I did start to watch something because I got so curious about it because I didn't know anything about it. So it's a short Netflix series, and your clues are South Carolina, trial, boat.
Ooh, you watched the Murdaugh. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah.
It's called Murdaugh Murders: An American Scandal.
Oh,
because I know you've been watching the trial, or you were when it was going on, and everybody I know was. And normally I am so in on a story and a trial that big, but I couldn't find my way in because I didn't get in early enough. So I felt so lost. So I was so grateful to just have the Netflix show because I'm like, I just need to go in and hear like an overall narrative. And I thought the 3-part series was really good. It inspired me to go watch the HBO one, which has a different point of view. I like both of them. They're different. The Netflix one focuses a lot on the kids, on Paul Murdaugh and his friend, and the night on the boat. It starts on the night Mallory Beach falls off the boat and goes and is killed, and it's so sad. The HBO one focuses a bit more on the death of, I don't want to get his name wrong, Stephen Smith.
Oh, Stephen Smith. Yes, it's Stephen Smith.
That is such a sad parallel story that nobody in the Murdaugh family, by the way, has been charged with, but there's like a lot of rumors. And so it covers a lot of that. And I liked that one featured that story because it's easy for that to get lost. I won't even go into like the main Murdaugh stuff. We know he was just sentenced to life in prison for the murder of his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul. It's the most twisted, messed up story, true crime story I've seen or heard in a long time.
Yeah.
And was it you I was texting with saying, I think this might be like the new crime of the century?
Yeah.
Yeah. The new trial of the century for the 2000s. Like, I mean, this story had everything, including like opioid addiction, many murders, so many dead bodies, insurance policies, wealth, scandal, politics. Like it has everything.
It does.
And it's weird and sad. And that family freaks me out.
Yeah, it's wild how much somebody could get away with for so long because he wasn't even great at covering his tracks.
No.
But then in that sense, it reminded me of Tom Girardi, where it was kind of like once one thing comes out,
it was like
it all kind of, I know, I was like,
little on a much smaller scale.
Yeah. But it was wild. So I knew,
I
listened to podcasts early on about it. Like when it started really happening, like when his wife and son were killed, I was like, what is this?
What is going on? Yeah.
And then it just got more and more, like the more I learned about it, the more I was like, are you kidding me? I didn't really watch the trial until like the week he was called on to the stand. He decided to take the stand. And
which is crazy.
All encompassing. Like that's all. I just like literally had my phone listening to it. I wasn't watching it, but I was listening to it going about my day. And then we literally went from that right into the Tom Sandoval of it all. And I need a break. I need these people to get their lives right. Just stop.
You're my reality TV thread, and I have a true crime text thread, and that group messaged me and was like, what is Vanderpump Rules and who is Tom Sandoval? And like, why is my TikTok all about it? I need to stop. And I'm like, I don't know, but this is the first thing to drown out like the Murdaugh conversation, truly. And they were like, yeah, exactly. And I don't like it. It was so funny. It was just like two different reactions.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I watched that. I did take a Sunday and I watched both because I was just like, what happened?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was surprised you didn't know it until like, because I figured I would ask you and you would know everything about it.
Terrible what happened. Yeah. What were you watching, and was it much later? Because
it was so much later. Well, mine was later. I've only been able to watch one other thing because of the Bravo of it all. I mean, TikTok doesn't count, and that's all I've been watching.
And you've put in your time. Yeah.
I've done the work. Okay, so mine 3, Netflix, comedy special, live.
Netflix live comedy special. I mean, there's always so many. Has Amy Schumer done a new one?
No, but
Is it Amy Schumer?
nobody's done a live one like this on Netflix that I can think of.
Oh, okay.
Think of the
a
slap
live-
heard across the world last year.
Oh, it was Chris Rock.
It was the Chris Rock one. Yes.
Yes. How was it?
It was great. It was selective outrage. He just does a great job. He's a great he I don't know. He just can make me laugh like no one else. He's just got a different sense of humor. And of course, I always loved him on SNL. I love his friendship with like Adam Sandler and David Spade and all of them. Like I think of all of them kind of together. And and it was live, so that was cool because there was one point in the special where he messed up a joke and he goes, I messed that up, and then he said it again, and it's like,
wow.
And like, I don't know, it was just kind of like, wow, it has to be, I can't imagine remembering that much material. And then, you know what I mean? Like, because I don't know, like, that's just so much to have in your brain, and the timing and the everything, and like, just what a real talent that is to be able to
Absolutely
put on a show like that and to keep people engaged. And of course, a lot of people watched it because they wanted to hear about the Will Smith part of it all. And that was like the last 10 minutes. But I was telling someone else, like halfway through, I had forgotten that I was even waiting for the Will Smith, you know, that story to happen. So I was like, he just did a really good job. He talked some about his family, and I don't know. I enjoy him. It's not for everybody, but I really enjoy him.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, I liked it.
Also, that moment where he, you know, had to like reset, you realize how produced those other Netflix shows, the stand-ups are, and they're done so well, and I enjoy them.
And they're done like
you do know that they
nights.
have takes, right? And there's a director, and it's like orchestrated. But yeah, for him just to go up there and do that all, and that you forgot about wanting the Will Smith part says a lot about how good he was.
Right, because it wasn't like,
I'll totally watch that.
Yeah, at first I was like, when is he going to get to it? And I'm glad he didn't do the thing where he kind of teased it all along. He may have teased like one time, but then that would have kept it in my head that that's what I like really wanted to hear that. But just hearing all of it and then realizing like, oh my gosh, there's only 10 minutes left, and then it comes out and you're like,
he's
whoa.
a master. Yeah, he's one of the greats.
He's master at his craft. That's exactly it.
Absolutely. So. Speaking of masters at their craft, the other thing before I remembered that I watched the Murdaughs, I was going to say I'm just rewatching 30 Rock from the beginning and like falling asleep to 30 Rock, which I just do periodically. It's the only show I can like almost always go back to at any season, any episode, and just be thrilled to be there.
Yes.
I'm obsessed. They are masters. They are all so good.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. I need to do a new 30 Rock rewatch. It kills me.
I highly recommend. Yeah. So good. You can't even keep up with the jokes. Like,
no.
I always think I'll remember it.
Like it. He's always like, it's too like, fast. Oh my God.
It is so fast.
Grow up, old man. No, I love it. But Rebekah, what I really want to know is what are your clues for the next episode?
This is the best I could do for the clues.
Okay.
You're going to get it. Podcast?
You've said that for months, by the way, and I haven't gotten one.
Well, because you always do. One way or another, sooner or later.
Yeah.
Okay. Podcast, hats, basketball.
Podcast, hats, basketball?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know.
I know.
I'm excited.
You know. Okay. Well, I'll get there.
We haven't done one from there. I'm excited. Yay.
Yeah. Okay.
This will be
good. Yeah, it was time. There's one thing I needed answered in that story, and I'm gonna find it. So
I'm excited.
Good. So then let's do it in 2 weeks, and we will be back with that new episode. And don't forget to check out the Scandival merch. We'll post it on our Instagram. It'll be on our website, criminalityshow.com, and you can always listen to Melissa on Tuesdays on her other podcast, Moms and Mysteries, which was shouted out by an actress you might know named Jenna Ortega on the Armchair Expert podcast earlier this week, which was such a thrill. Wasn't that thrilling?
You're so sweet. It was. I was more thrilled for you. Because I know I heard it and like, yeah,
I do love that show. And I already have a parasocial relationship with that podcast. Like, I think I am part of it somehow. So when they mentioned your podcast, I'm like, yeah, of course they're mentioning my friend's podcast. Sure. Why wouldn't they? So that was thrilling. But yeah, you can also listen to that one on Tuesdays. And we thank you so much for listening.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Criminality. If you're enjoying the show, please head over to Apple Podcast or wherever you listen and give the show a rating and review. The reality is it would be a crime to keep your thoughts to yourself.
And come join the fun outside of the podcast and follow us on social media. We are at Criminality Show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Memes are welcome. We'll see you in 2 weeks with a new episode. Until then, you can catch my co-host Melissa on her weekly show, Moms and Murder.
And Rebekah Sebastian on her podcast, Dialogue, a true crime conversation. Don't forget, loving reality
isn't a crime.